Welcome back to another episode of Doing Philosophy, where we're focusing on epistemology, part of our course, college level course on epistemology. Previously, I discussed my general definition of truth, which I use to analyze philosophers' views. I analyze any ordinary person's view. People with views of reality completely different from me. I can evaluate that. I want you to have this understanding, so I actually look at that video a couple of times. Now I want to turn to classical definitions within epistemology. There are four classical definitions within epistemology. The first one is called the correspondence theory of truth. The correspondence theory of truth. The word correspondence kind of says it all. This is the common sense theory of truth. When I say what common people think, what ordinary people think about truth, they think through correspondence. And basically, with ordinary folks, ordinary talk, it's about the facts and the events of the world. If I say there's a Lamborghini in my driveway, correspondence say that statement I'm uttering is true, if and only if the facts of the world correspond to the ideas I just uttered. So which means verification comes in. Like if I have looked outside and I saw the Lamborghini, that's when I know it. If I just had the idea in my head and I just uttered it, I can believe it. It could be an opinion, but it cannot in any way be called true. Because when we start dealing with truth, we're looking at beliefs and knowledge. If I imagine I would like to have a Lamborghini, so I imagine there's a Lamborghini there. It's my opinion. Well, it's not really my opinion. It'd be conceit if I say it was truly my opinion. But if I believe in something, and just because it's true for me and I have no external evidence, it's not correspondence in that sense. Okay? So correspondence then drives us to the idea that if you make a claim about the world, and it's true by observation and explanation, observation, right? It's true by correspondence. Every day we use this concept. Every day I talk about the location of my car. I know where my work is. Every day you know where to drive to your best friend's home. Every day you look at the facts in the world. When you're doing that, you're looking at the world through correspondence. When you make claims that deals with about concern the facts, you're using correspondence. The statement true if and only if. The word if and only if, that's the only way it's true. If you cannot have the verified through experience, it's not true or it's neutral until you can prove it. Now, can this be the general definition of truth? The answer is no. In our world, we also have different senses of truth, like 7 times 7 is 49, mathematical truth. These concepts are true for us. We use them day to day, but they're not true by correspondence. 7 could be people, 7 gallons, 7 inches. It's not connected to any particular thing in the world. These are abstract entities that when you understand their value, you can understand how they are true. So philosophers then say we have to go beyond correspondence and find a more general definition of truth. So what I'm saying is that this theory in front of you is observed in the world everywhere. And it's the foundation of common sense day-to-day conversations. But it's inadequate to capture all the sense of truth because, in particular, in this case, by the example I gave, it doesn't capture mathematical truths. The next theory that emerged as a general theory was the coherence theory of truth. And this one observed the world, just like correspondence, and observed the world and came to the conclusion that we often take things to be true based on how well it fits in with previously held beliefs. Previously held beliefs. If my best friend come to me and say, hey, I have a Mercedes, I have the keys to Mercedes, I own a Mercedes, I'm going to look at him with a bit of caution. Okay, I'm going to say, how did you get the Mercedes? Okay, defiantly saying, I don't believe a word he's saying. And why is that? Because I know my best friend and the kind of life he has, the kind of income he has, and also knowing his family background, I know, well, I'm certain he doesn't have a Mercedes, right? Because it doesn't fit in what I know about him. And this is very important to understand. This is a part of philosophy and part of science. When we look at the world through the eyes of philosophy or even science, it's like a jigsaw puzzle. And we're putting the pieces together, like the periodic table. The periodic table was discovered through the coherence theory of truth. A few people discovered a few of the elements, and some smart person decided to say, hey, these different atoms, these elements, they're different from in a certain way. Let me figure it out mathematically. And they figured out the whole concept of protons and neutrons and electrons. And boom, they generated the table which anticipated the next discoveries of what atoms are supposed to be. That was the core application of the coherence theory of truth. It's not just about the table. All of reality, for many philosophers, seem to be that way. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. If you understand this part and this part, if you get into a place that's blank, it's like a jigsaw puzzle, a piece is missing. If you understand all the areas, you can figure out what kind of piece, what kind of truth fits into that. So this theory is useful in science and philosophy, but it's also useful day to day. When an employer hires someone because of their life experiences, they are hiring because of coherence. When you act as an adult, you drive in a particular way, you treat people in a certain way, you have come to a certain expectation experience, and you act in that way because it reinforces the truth. If you do this, this is going to happen. You do this, this is going to happen. It fits in with previously held beliefs. Unfortunately, coherence is also the foundation of a lot of social problems. Sexism, racism, anti-Semitism. You have a lot of these, when you have the problem with coherence is that it presupposes that the original belief system, the group of belief, is coherent and it is good. It's bona fide. If it is not, like when you engage in sexism, right? Then it's going to filter continually reinforce the same bad beliefs. Okay, this is true with racism, anti-Semitism, or anti-religionism of any kind. It reinforces bad ills. Another issue with coherence theory is that it presupposes previously held beliefs, and babies do not have previously held beliefs. So scholars argue that this theory can't stand alone, independent of correspondence. So you can see correspondence as how we start life. Point and tell. That's how we know this is a table, this is a refrigerator, this is how our parents taught us. Then when we become an adult, we begin to act with coherence. So what I'm saying practically as philosophers trying to articulate something in clear logical analyses that in reality we use every day. There are some limitations to them, but they cannot be general theories. Another one that appears in our day-to-day lives, which philosophers have a lot of fun with, is pragmatism. Pragmatism, or the pragmatic theory of truth, is the idea that what makes something true is if it has practical value. This is very influential in science. We believe in the scientific theory that water boiling 100 degrees Celsius because every time I test it in the right condition, it happens. So the theory must be true. This is called pragmatism. If you want to know if the Atkins diet is going to work on you or the South Beach diet is going to work for you, you have to try it. You can't read a book. Other people's testimony is encouraging what might happen for you, but there's only one way to know that they work for you is if you try it. Then if it works for you, it's true. If it doesn't work, it's false. Very practical. Now, and this is a real part of our lives. Now, some scholars say, oh, it's relativism. I disagree with these scholars vehemently. That means very strongly. Why is that? Pragmatism applies to situations that is very, very complicated, with a lot of details we're not aware of. Take people with dieting. The human body and all the chemicals is a chemical vat. Different people, different backgrounds, they have a different chemical vat. A diet works for one person, doesn't work for another person because of the complex nature of the chemical vat. Application of pragmatism, whenever there seems to be relatives, is because the system is so complex, you cannot tell exactly what's going to happen next. And I think that's what I see in pragmatism, and I see as a very useful theory of truth. It's just like being a medical doctor, and you're gonna 10 people come to you with a headache. You give 5 of them, all 10 the same medication. 5 come back and say it doesn't work. Pragmatism. Doctors do not get PhD. Why? Because even if they give you the best medicine possible, your chemical makeup, your background, and how your lifestyle may be so different that the medicine does not work as it should, not as effective, or has an adverse reaction. This is pragmatism. Pragmatism is a real bona fide sense of truth. It can lead to practical knowledge, certainly good beliefs about the world, although we can doubt if it leads to knowledge itself. I'll leave that open. The semantic theory of truth. Uh, this is it could be a challenge one. Semantic means meaning. And in the context of the world, this theory is problematic. But let me first talk about in which way the semantic theory of truth actually works. When you go to see a movie, an action movie of any kind, the movie is a semantic system. The director, the producers, the actors, and all the other technicians in the background create a world, a virtual world, a metaphysical world in which for you to enjoy something, to learn something, to get some great insight, to change your life. Right? And so it's a semantic system. And as adults, when we enter that, we bracket beliefs of truths about the world and we accept whatever world they give us in there. It's a world of magical powers. It's a world of superheroes. It's a world of scientific discoveries. It's a world of corporate America. Whatever world they create for us, we accept. And then once you accept it, that's when movies, the magic take place. You make no judgment. You see how well they can create this fantasy world and make it work. This is a semantic system. What's true in the movie is true in the movie. So in my movie, if I have a movie about Superman and Superman flies, you understand true within the context of Superman. As a movie maker, I do not expect the audience to get out of the theater and walk outside and see Superman flying through the sky. But within the concept of the movie, it is true. This is the only way movies work. That's a semantic system. This occurs also in novels. These are semantic systems. It's true in the novel. It is true there, and your mind understands it. That's how you can, without accepting semantic truth, you cannot enjoy a movie. Same thing with video games. You get all passionate about this and this because you accept the truth within the video game that's presented to you. In this way, we can see that truth in these domains actually work. All books are semantic system in that sense as well. However, when we look at the world itself, it doesn't work like that. Alfred Tarski, the person who presented this theory, said, consider the statement, snow is white. This statement is true if and only if snow is white. Initially, people thought correspondence. The statement is white true if the real facts of the world just shows that to be the case. He says, no. He says, I mean the statement is true if only if the language says it's true. If you apply Tarski's comments in movies, in video games, in books, and novels, it works perfectly. Okay, because it's true, it's defined by the language of the medium looking at. But look at the real world itself. It does not apply to the real world. So one of the controversies of this theory that many scholars, many philosophers, for years have tried to make this the ultimate theory in epistemology. The problem is it does not really directly correlate with the world. It could correlate to your mental world. I talk about movies, video game. It could talk about your mind, the philosopher's mind. In the sense, the philosopher's mind is not necessarily a semantic system because then there'll be like mere opinion. Okay, you just have mere opinion of truth. Your opinions will be semantic, but if you have genuine knowledge, those knowledge claims inside your mind corresponds to various things in the world that validate the claim in the first place. But this is one of the four classical theories. All of them are bona fide part of our world right now, but none of these four can serve as the universal theory. And with this, I need to give you some bad news, folks. We don't have a general theory of truth to give you in philosophy. We have clear understanding of it in particular domain and cutting out, seeing it on different sides. And it's very, very clear and it's complete in that sense. But we don't have that general definition. And in my philosophy, as a living philosopher, we don't need it. With the tools here and more tools, I'm talking about truth in a little while, we can clearly understand and use the concept day to day. Without a good sense of truth, we wouldn't have the society we have right now. We do have a good sense. But as academic people in philosophy and deep theoretical science, we want to know more and more about the truth. For us specialists in that area, allow us to go forward and dive deep as we want to dive to get more and more precise understanding of these concepts of truth.